I'm Perry Red. This is Socially Speaking. I just want to take a minute to share with you our commentary from the other side of the tracks.
And now, a Socially Speaking commentary by Perry Red from the other side of the tracks.
So, we're here on this 4th of July weekend, holiday. And the question for you is, what are we celebrating? What does this mean? Well, it's a real simple proposition if you really think about today, this time in history, 2020 in America. You know, Frederick Douglass said a century ago that the 4th of July for the black man means something totally different. We would hope that it would mean independence, freedom, liberty, and all of those golden principles that so many Americans hold dear to. But to the black man in America, especially today, it means something totally different. The urgency of change is now, and the now of this urgency is long overdue. That's what is pertinent and paramount today. You see, we've seen so many offenses occur just in the last 6 months upon black Americans, which are offenses upon all Americans, if you really, really honestly look at it. As we see this country go through this upheaval, our hopes are that it's not just a hiccup. Our hopes is that this is not just a speed bump. Our hopes is that it is a tear down, a destruction of old traditions, old principles, old theories, old beliefs. Yeah, old BS, belief systems that have harmed so many Americans, especially black ones. And if it's an offense upon a Native American, then it's an offense upon you. If it's an offense upon a black American, it's an offense upon you. And yes, when we hear the term White Lives Matter, we know that that is true for all Americans, that all lives do matter. But in this particular time in history, the call for Black Lives Mattering is an urgent and a paramount call for all Americans to review what their belief systems are and were. Our hopes is that our leadership would change. Not necessarily the personnel, but the structure, the ideals, the way we do business. And even running the country like a business is an insane proposition. You see, because humans truly are secondary when it comes to matters of profit. For all Americans who have taken the true effort to examine what's being said by your fellow Americans of color, I want to say thank you. I want to say there is hope. When I was of the mindset that I would die without seeing change, change has happened. It might be piecemeal, it might be incremental, but it's happening. But this incrementalism isn't drip, drip, drip. This has been a bucket being thrown on America, a bucket of water being splashed in America's face. And it is the right thing for the right time, for the right reasons. Understand that folks like me as an activist have long complained about the offenses upon people of color, from racist corporate branding, like the Washington football team, to the lack of opportunities in the entertainment that so much pervades our lives, like Hollywood. It's due season that we add a little flavor to the pie. And you know, as a child, I remember hearing about the Great American Melting Pot. Well, you know what? I did not realize how unseasoned it was. But there was always seasoning in the cabinet, and it's time to pull it out. Take it out the closet. For all those who are gay, LGBTQ, and others I'm saying thank you for not quitting. For the disabilities community, thank you for not quitting. For your crawl-ins and for all of those who use the civil rights movement of the 1960s as their means methodology to get their piece of the American pie. I want to say thank you for not quitting. For the Latino community, I'm thinking about the dreamers. I can't forget Donald Trump as a candidate in 2015 said, I love the dreamers. Early 2016, I love the dreamers. And then he got elected and stabbed you in the back. So we are very thankful that there are checks and balances in this country. And the fact is we cannot let this constitutional ideal, even though put in place by founders who may have been racist, those principles had good grounds. They were good seeds. Yeah, every tree might have some rotten fruit. And that's why we have amendments to our Constitution. That's why D.C. needs to be made a state for all of those people in the Douglas Commonwealth who don't have full representation in Congress, who are taxed without representation. It's time to change. In America, you can do it. I know you can. The urgency of now is long overdue. Understand that the challenge that we have is less about principle and more about the morality of this country, the claims of morality from the top down. Those who claim to be Christian and even claim the moral high ground, but have shown themselves to be anything other than moral, including following and electing a leader who is one of the most immoral human beings you could ever find. The time of now, the urgency of now is long overdue. 25 years ago, I remember protesting against police killing black men. And so many people said to me, I believe you, I believe in you, but I am not going to say anything. I don't want anything to happen to me. Well, if you don't say anything, you're rolling the dice because you may be the next one it will happen to. It is good that out on protest lines for Black lives, there are white allies. There are people who care about humanity. That's what's most important. Whether it's in America or in Palestine, it is important. It is relevant. It is survival. It is life. And all of us deserve to live a good life. Understand, for all of those white allies who are now jumping on the bandwagon of Black Lives Matter, then you got your ghetto pass. All aboard? Come on. Let's fight this thing so that we will be all in it together and that we'll all prosper. It'll be a greater country. And you'll leave a greater country for your children and your grandchildren. It means the world to me. I don't have much life left, but the life I do have, I want to see my children flourish. I want to see them enjoy the fruits of this American dream, just like any other American, white or otherwise. And socially speaking, the urgency of now is long overdue.
And that was a Socially Speaking commentary by Perry Red from the other side of the track.
Red Media.